Welcome to the deep dive. You, our learner, have pulled together a really fantastic set of resources for us today,
Yeah, they're great.
all focused on, building and keeping up a solid meditation practice. We've got summaries, FAQs, some expert advice, really the works.
Hmm.
And our mission today, pretty straightforward. Let's pull out the essential insights, the stuff that will actually help you weave meditation into your daily life.
Right. Not just thinking about it, but making it a real, consistent habit.
Exactly. It's a journey I think a lot of people are curious about. You hear so much about the benefits, right? For focus, stress.
Oh, definitely. Stress management, general well-being. But, bridging that gap between wanting to meditate and actually doing it regularly.
That's the tricky part.
That's where these sources seem really helpful. They offer practical paths,
hmm
which, we can explore together.
Perfect. Because as the learner, you're looking to get right to the heart of things quickly, effectively. You want those aha moments that actually stick.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's jump in. One thing that honestly leaps out from pretty much all your materials is just how vital consistency is.
Yeah, that theme is strong.
Headspace, for example, talks about needing a gentle and considered discipline. That phrase really stood out to me.
It's good, isn't it? Gentle discipline. Not forcing it, but being intentional.
Right. They say it's key to unlocking the full potential. It kind of makes me think of like watering a plant.
Mhm.
A little bit of water consistently does way more good than like a massive downpour once a month.
That's a great analogy. And it maps really well onto how habits actually form in the brain, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, those small, regular efforts start carving out neural pathways. It makes the action, in this case meditation, feel more automatic over time.
Oh, okay. So it gets easier.
It's that cumulative effect. One source even used the phrase meditation muscle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, me too. Because like any muscle, it strengthens with, consistent use. And Headspace also points to the power of routine, suggesting meditating at the same time, same place
hmm
really helps lock that habit in.
It's like creating an anchor, isn't it? A little trigger for your brain.
Exactly. A cue.
And, Headspace makes another really powerful point. They say, nothing is more important than the health of your mind.
Wow. That puts it in perspective.
It really does. When you look at meditation through that lens, like this isn't just another nice to have on my to-do list. It's fundamental for my mental well-being.
It shifts things, makes it feel less like a chore and more like, well, essential self-care.
Precisely.
And without that regular commitment, that consistency, those deeper benefits everyone talks about, they can just stay out of reach.
So consistency is the bedrock.
Got it. It provides that stable foundation you need to really explore the practice and, integrate its positive effects into your life.
Okay, foundation established. But what happens when you actually sit down, you're ready to meditate, and your mind just goes wild? Like a total parade of thoughts, worries, plans?
Ugh, the classic wandering mind.
Yeah. Is that bad? Did I fail?
No, no, not at all. Your sources are really clear on this. A wandering mind is, well, it's normal.
Okay, phew.
Not just normal, actually, but absolutely normal and part of the process.
Yeah.
Both Headspace and Mindful really emphasize that. It's just what minds do. They think,
Right, it's their job description.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So the key insight here isn't about trying to achieve some state of, like, perfect mental silence. That's often counterproductive anyway.
Trying to stop thoughts sounds exhausting, like trying to hold back the ocean or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we're not aiming for a totally silent mind, what are we trying to do when all those thoughts are bubbling up?
Good question. What's the goal then?
It's more about a shift in perspective. Headspace has this lovely image. Think of your thoughts like clouds,
Okay.
and your awareness, your ability to notice. That's the sky.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Clouds drift by, right?
Mm-hmm.
They change shape, they come and go. But the sky just remains. It holds them.
So the goal is to cultivate that sky-like awareness, observing the thought clouds without getting swept away by them.
Precisely. That spacious awareness. The
Right.
ability to just notice thoughts as they arise and pass without getting tangled up in their storylines. Mindful echoes this too, highlighting the simple act of just noticing when your mind has wandered off.
That clouds and sky idea, it really takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
It does.
It's more like being a curious, detached observer than, the main actor in every single mental drama that pops up.
Exactly. So inevitably our minds will wander. What's the recommended strategy then? How do we gently bring ourselves back?
Yeah, what's the move?
The consistent advice across the board is gentle redirection. When you notice your attention has drifted, and it could be after 1 second or maybe 10 minutes, doesn't matter. Mindful says just come back to the next breath.
Simple.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Headspace expands on this a bit, mentioning other potential anchors too, like the physical sensations in your body, or maybe the sounds around you, or even just the feeling of the space you're in.
So options. But the key word seems to be gentle.
Absolutely. Gentle, no need to get frustrated or beat yourself up about it.
Because that judgment just adds another layer of mental noise, right? It's like getting mad at yourself for having a thought, which is itself another thought.
You got it. That's the loop. WebMD specifically advises don't beat yourself up too hard. They say it's all part of the process, perfectly natural.
Good reminder.
And Headspace reinforces this with a really simple, powerful instruction. Don't judge.
Don't judge. Easier said than done sometimes, but crucial.
It really is. This self-compassion is fundamental. Meditation isn't just about awareness. It's about awareness with kindness towards yourself and the natural buzz of your own mind.
Okay, this totally reframes the whole experience. It's not about failure or success. It's about practice. Kind practice.
Exactly.
Right, let's get practical then. Our learner wants to know how to actually build this into their day. What are the concrete, actionable steps our sources recommend?
Okay, yeah, lots of good stuff here. The first big one is start small, really small.
How small are we talking?
Zen Habits suggests even just 1 to 5 minutes to begin with. Seriously.
1 minute. Everyone has 1 minute.
Right. The idea is to make it feel super achievable, not overwhelming. Avoid that feeling of, oh God, another huge commitment.
Yeah, that can kill a new habit before it starts.
And as the Times of India points out, you can always gradually increase the duration later as you get more comfortable. It's about lowering the barrier to entry right at the beginning.
Makes perfect sense. 1 minute feels way less daunting than, say, 30.
Yeah.
Okay, start small. What's next for building the habit?
Establishing a consistent time for your practice. This came up a lot.
The same time, same place idea again.
Exactly. Headspace often recommends trying the morning. Suggests that it can set a calm tone for the day ahead.
I can see that.
But, importantly, Mindful emphasizes finding a time that genuinely fits your schedule, your rhythm, morning, lunch, evening, whatever works consistently for you.
So predictability helps the brain lock it in.
Yeah, your brain starts to recognize and even anticipate it. Okay, what about the environment? Does where we meditate matter much?
Good question. Do I need a special cushion and incense?
Not necessarily.
Here.
But creating a dedicated space can be really beneficial. Mindful suggests designating a quiet, comfortable spot that you associate with your meditative purpose.
So it doesn't need to be fancy, just consistent.
Right, just a place that sort of signals to your mind, okay, this is where we do this. A little mental cue.
I like that, a spatial cue. Now, what about linking this new habit to something we already do? I think I saw something about that.
Yes, habit stacking. Super powerful technique.
Tell me more.
Headspace specifically suggests attaching your meditation to an existing daily activity, something automatic like brushing your teeth or making your morning coffee.
Okay.
The mantra they suggest is basically, after current habit, I will meditate. So, brush teeth, then meditate.
Right.
Or make coffee, then meditate for 2 minutes.
Oh, that's clever. You're piggybacking on an existing routine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It reduces the chances of forgetting because the trigger is already built in, and it makes it feel like a natural next step in a sequence you already follow.
Less willpower needed, maybe.
That's the idea. It bypasses some of that decision fatigue because it's just the next link in a familiar chain.
Smart. But, life happens. What if your schedule gets thrown off, you miss your usual time, or you're traveling?
Great point. The advice here is generally be flexible, but try not to skip altogether.
Okay.
Headspace suggests that if your usual time or place isn't possible, adjust it. Maybe do it later or find a different quiet corner, but still try to get some practice in, even if it's shorter than usual.
So maintain the thread of consistency, even if it looks a bit different that day.
Exactly. Maintaining that daily touch point, even in a modified way, is really key for cementing the habit long term.
Adapt and persevere. Good life advice in general.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears slightly, when we actually sit down to do the practice, are there helpful mindsets to cultivate beyond just don't judge?
Yeah, definitely. The sources really emphasize focusing on the process itself rather than striving for some specific outcome or feeling.
Process over perfection.
You got it. Headspace is very clear. There's no right or wrong way to meditate. And they strongly caution against labeling your sessions as good or bad.
That's liberating. Takes the pressure off performing.
Totally. The simple act of showing up, sitting down, and engaging with the practice.
Yeah.
That's the success. That's what matters.
Okay, so just do it, basically. What other ways can we reinforce this budding habit? Make it more likely to stick?
Well, reflecting on how you feel after a session can be a really powerful reinforcement.
Noticing the benefits.
Yeah. Headspace suggests just taking a moment to notice any sense of calm or clarity, or maybe just feeling a bit more settled, even subtle shifts.
And the other sources mention broader benefits too, right?
Oh, yeah. The Times of India and the NHS highlight things like reduced stress, improved focus, better sleep. Noticing those connections over time can really fuel your motivation to keep going.
It's like building your own internal evidence, your personal feedback loop. Makes sense. What about those days, though, when you just don't feel like it? The excuses start whispering.
Ah, yes, the resistance.
What do we do then?
Headspace have an interesting suggestion. Actually acknowledge those excuses. Maybe even jot them down.
Write them down. Why?
To bring them into conscious awareness, see them clearly. This can help you recognize patterns, maybe see them for what they are, just thoughts, and then consciously choose to still practice anyway, even if it's just for that 1 minute.
That's a really insightful way to handle resistance. Instead of fighting it, just look at it.
Okay. Are there any external supports, things outside our own heads that can help?
Yes, definitely. Several sources mention the value of meditating with a friend.
A meditation button.
Yeah. For shared support, accountability, makes it a bit more social, perhaps.
Could work. Anything else?
The Calm blog also suggests celebrating small wins, like acknowledging when you've meditated 3 days in a row or a week.
Oh, like giving yourself a little pat on the back. Exactly. Positive reinforcement. It can strengthen the neural pathways associated with the habit.
A little encouragement and celebration. Yeah, I can see how that would keep the momentum going. And I think I remember seeing something about writing down a specific plan.
Yes, that's called creating an implementation intention.
Sounds official. What is it?
It just means being really specific about when and how you will meditate. Instead of vaguely saying, I'll meditate more, you write down, tomorrow after I brush my teeth, I will sit on the blue chair in the living room and meditate for 5 minutes.
Ah, okay. Makes it concrete.
Super concrete. And studies show that doing this significantly increases the likelihood you'll actually follow through. It turns a fuzzy intention into a clear action plan.
Makes it more real, less abstract, less wiggle room for excuses, maybe.
Perhaps. And finally, maybe the most important mindset piece. What's the overall time frame we should be thinking about here? Is this a quick fix?
Probably not, right?
Definitely not. Patience is crucial. Headspace really emphasizes that building a consistent meditation practice is a long-term skill. It develops gradually.
Like learning an instrument or a sport.
Exactly. Results unfold over time, sometimes subtly.
Right.
So approaching it with patience, persistence, and kindness towards yourself is really key.
Okay, wow, that's a fantastic roadmap. Let's quickly recap. Start small, be consistent, find your time and space, use habit stacking, be flexible but don't skip, focus on the process, not perfection, notice benefits, acknowledge resistance, maybe get a buddy, celebrate wins, make a specific plan, and above all, be patient.
That covers the core strategies beautifully.
Great. Now, your sources also mention different types of meditation. For someone just starting out who might feel a bit overwhelmed by choice, which techniques are generally good entry points?
Yeah, good question. For beginners, mindfulness meditation is often recommended. It's essentially about paying non-judgmental attention to whatever is happening in your present moment. Experience your breath, sounds, thoughts, body sensations.
So just notice.
Just noticing, with curiosity and kindness. Focusing specifically on the breath is also a very common and accessible starting point. Just feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale.
Those sound pretty straightforward, not too complex or intimidating. What about some of the other methods mentioned?
Sure. There's body scan meditation, where you systematically bring your attention to different parts of your body, noticing sensations, maybe releasing tension.
Okay.
Mantra meditation involves repeating a word or short phrase, either silently or aloud, which can help focus the mind. Walking meditation is great too, bringing awareness to the physical sensations of walking.
You can meditate while walking.
Absolutely. And guided meditations using audio recordings where someone leads you through the practice can be incredibly helpful, especially for beginners. They provide structure and gentle instruction.
Like having a guide.
Exactly. And these simple things like counting your breaths, maybe counting 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale, up to 10, then starting again, or doing some basic visualization exercises can be effective.
So there's a whole toolbox, really.
There really is. The best advice is probably to experiment a little bit. Try a few different approaches and see what resonates most with you. what feels most natural or helpful right now.
Like trying on different hats until one fits comfortably. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, on the flip side, are there common mistakes that beginners often make? Things we can help our learner sidestep.
Yes, definitely some common pitfalls. We touched on one already. Trying too hard to stop thinking.
Right, the counterproductive effort.
Exactly. Another big one is judging your meditation sessions as good or bad. That just creates pressure and misses the point of the practice.
Got it. What else?
Having unrealistic expectations is another one. Expecting instant peace or profound enlightenment after a week.
Yeah, probably not going to happen.
It's usually a much more gradual process.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not giving a particular technique enough time before deciding this isn't for me. Sometimes it takes a little while to settle into a method.
So don't jump around too quickly.
Maybe stick with one for a bit.
Yeah.
And related to that, quitting at the first sign of difficulty or disappointment. Persistence is really key, especially in the beginning.
Sticking with it through the bumps.
And finally, waiting for the perfect conditions, absolute silence, no distractions before you even start. That perfect moment might never come.
Right, just start where you are with what you have.
Exactly. Even 2 minutes amidst a bit of background noise is better than waiting for an ideal scenario that never materializes.
Okay, so it boils down to being kind to ourselves, understanding it's a practice, not a performance, having realistic expectations, and just starting.
That sums it up well.
Now, to really crystallize this for our learner, let's do a super quick recap of those absolute essential takeaways for building consistency. What are the non-negotiables?
Okay, the core things. First, prioritize consistency. Daily practice, even if it's really brief, is more impactful than longer sessions done sporadically.
Daily, even short. Got it.
Second, start small and be patient. Begin with manageable durations, maybe just a minute or two, and understand it's a skill that develops gradually.
Small steps, long game. Okay.
Third, integrate it. Use habit stacking to link meditation into routines you already have. Make it automatic.
Piggyback on existing habits. Yes.
Fourth, focus on present moment awareness with acceptance. Observe your thoughts without judgment. When the mind wanders, gently redirect your focus back to your anchor.
Notice and gently return, no judgment.
And finally, connect with your motivation. Understand why you want to do this, and maybe consider tracking your sessions just to see your consistency build over time.
Know your why and track your what. Love it. That habit stacking idea really does seem like a potential game changer for making this stick. Can you maybe elaborate just a bit more on why it's so effective?
Sure. Habit stacking works so well primarily because it leverages existing neural pathways. You're essentially hijacking a routine that's already somewhat automatic in your brain.
So less mental effort needed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It reduces the cognitive load. You don't have to consciously decide when to meditate each day. The cue is already built into your existing routine.
Ah, the trigger.
Right. The existing habit acts the trigger for the new one. This dramatically increases the likelihood you'll actually remember to do it. Think of it like setting up dominoes.
Okay.
One action, finishing your coffee, brushing your teeth, naturally leads to the next, the meditation. It makes the integration into your daily flow much smoother, more seamless, more convenient.
Those examples really help meditating right after that first coffee sip, or taking a few mindful breaths before diving into email. It's about finding those little natural pauses or transitions in the day.
Precisely, those little pockets of time that already exist.
Okay, super helpful. Now, before we start to wrap up, let's tackle some of those common beginner misconceptions head on, just to set realistic expectations for you, the learner.
Good idea. Let's bust some myths.
Myth number 1. Meditation means completely clearing your mind, achieving total blankness. True or false?
Definitely false. The reality is much more about observing your thoughts, noticing them without getting carried away, and gently refocusing when you drift.
Okay. Myth 2. You should feel instantly calm and peaceful the moment you start meditating.
Also generally false. While calmness can definitely be a result, especially over time, it's a gradual process. Expecting instant bliss often leads to frustration. Release those expectations.
Got it. Myth 3. There's a single right way to meditate, and if you're not doing it that way, you're doing it wrong.
False again. It's a deeply personal practice. The most important thing is finding what works for you and practicing consistently. There's no universal right way.
Good to know. Myth 4. You need perfect silence, a special cushion, maybe monk-like conditions to meditate effectively.
False. While a quiet space can be helpful, especially when starting, you can genuinely practice anywhere, anytime. Start small, even for a minute in a busy place. Don't let the lack of perfect conditions stop you.
Okay. Myth 5. Meditation is a quick fix that will solve all your problems and lead to dramatic life changes overnight.
If only. But no, false. It's a long-term skill, a practice for cultivating well-being, resilience, and self-awareness over time. Appreciate the journey, not just the imagined destination.
And the last big one, if my mind wanders a lot or I find it hard to focus, it means I'm just bad at meditation.
Absolutely, fundamentally false.
Yeah.
This may be the biggest misconception. A wandering mind is normal. Noticing that it has wandered and gently bringing it back without judgment, that is the practice itself. That's you succeeding at meditation, not failing.
Wow. Okay, these mythbusters are so important. Really demystifies things and hopefully encourages beginners not to give up prematurely.
That's the hope.
So, for those who do start and inevitably hit some bumps, encounter challenges, what are some practical ways to navigate those?
Okay, common challenges. Difficulty quieting the mind. We've covered that.
Yeah.
Focus on your anchor, like the breath.
Right.
Be non-judgmental. Remember, it's normal.
Right. Gentle redirection.
Feeling impatient. Manage expectations. Remember, it's a process, not a race. Focus on the short sessions initially. Appreciate just showing up.
Okay. What about inconsistency? Falling off the wagon?
Schedule it like an important appointment. Use habit stacking religiously. Remind yourself of your why. And be flexible. A short section is better than none. Don't let one missed day derail you.
Get back on track gently. What if you feel sleepy during meditation? Or maybe restless?
Experiment with the time of day. Maybe avoid meditating right after a big meal or when you're naturally tired. Check your posture. Sitting upright but comfortably can help. Or try a movement-based meditation like walking.
Good tips. How about self-judgment? That feeling of, I'm not doing this right.
Remind yourself repeatedly if needed. There is no right or wrong way. Be kind. Treat yourself like you'd treat a friend learning something new.
Self-compassion again. What about distractions, noise, interruptions?
Try to find a relatively quiet space if possible, especially when starting. Let others know you need a few minutes undisturbed. Maybe put your phone on silent or in another room. But also practice accepting distractions as part of the present moment when they do occur.
Okay. Feeling overwhelmed by all the different techniques.
Just pick one to start. Keep it simple. Stick with basic mindfulness or breath focus for a while before exploring others. Don't try to do everything at once.
Simplify. And lack of motivation. When the initial enthusiasm fades.
Reconnect with your why. Why did you want to start meditating in the first place? Track your progress visually, maybe in a journal or app, to see how far you've come. Consider that meditation buddy for accountability.
Really practical, reassuring advice for navigating those common hurdles. And finally, we touched on this briefly, but that idea of an implementation intention. Just reiterate why writing it down can be so powerful.
Yeah, it really boils down to making your intention concrete and actionable. Writing down exactly when, where, and how you plan to meditate transforms it from a vague wish, I should meditate more, into a specific plan.
And programming it into your schedule.
Exactly. It significantly increases your sense of commitment and accountability, making it much more likely you'll actually follow through with the action.
So it's that crucial step from just thinking about it to actually scheduling and doing it. This has been, wow, such a thorough exploration, really comprehensive.
Absolutely. And hopefully it gives you, our learner, both the confidence and the practical tools you need to either start your own meditation journey or perhaps deepen the practice you already have.
I think it definitely does.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up, remember everyone, establishing a consistent meditation practice. It really is a journey, isn't it? Not some final destination you arrive at.
Well said.
Start small. Be patient with yourself, really patient. Embrace the wandering mind, it's not the enemy. And find what genuinely works best for you. Because that consistency, even if it's just for a few minutes each day, that's what will yield the most significant benefits over the long haul.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. What is one small, concrete step you could take, maybe even today, to begin, or perhaps just strengthen your meditation practice?
Ooh, actionable. I like it.
And then maybe reflect. How might consistently dedicating even those few moments to mindfulness start to ripple outwards? How might it shift your perspective, your stress levels, your overall well-being in the coming weeks and months?
Powerful questions to ponder. Thank you. We really hope this deep dive has provided valuable clarity and, most importantly, some actionable insights for you.
We do.
And as always, we're curious. What other areas of well-being, personal growth, or, anything else are you interested in exploring? Share your thoughts with us, and perhaps that will be the focus of our next exploration together.
We'd love to hear from you.
Until then, take care.